Supervisory Special Agent. He's also an advanced EMT and active first responder. Jason, it's good to have you back with us tonight. I want to pick up actually where Veronica just left off. The fact that there is a student who has now told CNN that they saw an individual on the roof twice in the last week, that this person, according to the student, had ignored a professor when they were telling them to come down, did report this to the tip line. A tip like that, when that comes in, how much could it help focus, perhaps, parts of the investigation in terms of trying to even just identify who this suspect is?
Erica, that's a great question. I think it's going to be an important piece of the case, so that gives them time to go back and try to pull video footage from those timeframes if they haven't done that already. If they've gotten that tip and the person said he hasn't been interviewed yet, that doesn't mean they're not taking action on that tip. So these video canvases become really important part of these cases, these high-profile manhunt cases, and each little piece of evidence leads you to a new place to start another canvas. And so hopefully they'll be able to piece these bits and pieces of information together. We saw tonight at the press conference the part about the shoes and the part about the shirt with the flag, those types of things. Somebody out there is going to recognize him, and the tips will be coming in. I know in the Boston Marathon bombings, I helped with that press conference. Once we put that photograph out, we had a photo before, it wasn't very good. And then once we got that clear photo of White Hat and put that out, the tips just started pouring in, and that really was what was the crack in the case to kind of bring this to a head. So hopefully that's where we'll be. They put the photos out that they have, and so hopefully this is going to be just the start of the apprehension of the suspect.
Given what technology is nowadays, given, to your point, the cameras that we know exist everywhere, and these images that they have released are actually fairly clear in terms of a face, are you surprised that at this point in the investigation, we're talking, now going into the second day here, that there is not an identification that has been released?
I think the key point here is there's not been a public identification. It's possible they may have a name or they may have an alias or something like that, but they really can't take a chance on coming out with a name that they think. They need to be able to prove that name. I know in the Nashville bombing on Christmas Day a few years ago, the subject there, the authorities had that name. We had his name early on, but we wanted to make sure through DNA and those types of things that it was absolutely that person and not just somebody with that person's identity.
And we did see early on, right? There were some issues with that, so it is an important point. I was struck by the comments from the Commissioner for Public Safety when he was asked by NBC whether the suspect was still close by or even in the state. He said, "We have no idea. We don't know where this guy is. We don't know if he's still in the state. We don't know where he could be." What does that tell you about where things may stand in this moment?
Well, I think it's good that the FBI and the federal authorities are involved. That's exactly why this partnership between them and the Department of Public Safety and the local officials is so important, because no matter where this person runs, no matter where the shooter runs, there's going to be law enforcement there able to handle it. And particularly with the FBI field offices across the country, they're in tune. They're waiting for leads to come in. They're probably already covering leads from tips all over that are coming in. I know that in Boston, we sent leads out to most every state that came in to check out. So I think once they get those tips and they'll be able to act on them, they're going to take them seriously and make sure that they're covering every lead thoroughly.
The FBI director, Kash Patel, there was much made of the fact that he was going to be at this press conference, which is why it left, I think, a lot of people scratching their heads that he didn't speak at all. Is that surprising to you?
Well, generally speaking, the agents in the field are the ones that do the work. So I thought it was sort of respectful that he let the people that are actually doing the work talk. Having said that, having the FBI director there kind of helps cut through some red tape if they needed some kind of resource or something. Having him on site, having them being able to see firsthand what's going on is helpful in the resource allocation that they may need.
What are your biggest questions in this moment? As you look at what we know publicly, what are the questions that you're asking?
Well, I always have to remember, now that I'm on this side of it, that they probably know more than what they're saying, and they're working very hard. I know the men and women of the FBI, the special agent in charge was a squad mate of mine in Jackson, very capable agent, very capable leader, so I know they're in good hands there. But my questions would be, hey, where's the evidence leading you? You have to have tips from somebody, like what are you doing with those? What's the plan, the long-term plan if this goes a few more days? what are you going to do? What public messaging are you going to be out there? I think it was helpful to have a video. Photos are one thing, but having that video is super important to be able to see gait and be able to see way people walk. One important thing, Erica, on these Converse shoes, the FBI has reached back to these manufacturers and maybe we'll be able to take this casting of the evidence of the footprint and maybe see where these things are sold. They do very minutiae details like that. So hopefully they're doing things like that, checking every types of camera, not only the Ring cameras, but any other kind of surveillance that was out there. And they're doing things like talking to people. So a lot of times we talk about technology, but just being able to go out there, talk to people and gather information and put those pieces together are really important.
And it is remarkable, as they were noting, more than 7,000 leads and tips have now been called in or submitted. That's the most, according to the governor, to the FBI, since the Boston Marathon bombing. We'll continue to follow it. Jason, really appreciate your expertise here. Thank you.
Thanks, Erica.